I am a trained cardiac surgeon. All of these things have happened to me because of what I am going to tell you. I have witnessed men losing their wives, wives losing their husbands, and children losing their parents. And what is the most excruciating aspect? For the most part, they were unaware. In their minds, the food they were consuming was risk-free. They were under the impression that they were acting in a moral manner. On the other hand, the fact of the matter is that the very canned goods that they trusted were slowly poisoning them, one mouthful. At one point, I had to break the news to a son that his father's heart had stopped beating, not because of his advanced age, but rather because his arteries had been clogged with salt and chemicals from consuming healthy soups and stews. What do I see on the television when I get back to my house? Advertisements that are really shiny and persuade older citizens like you to purchase the same items that I used to put my patients in the grave. Do you have any idea what causes me to feel ill? If I were to label these items as senior-friendly, I would get financial compensation, sponsorships, and public relations deals from firms worth billions of dollars. In order to convince you that canned meats and soups are beneficial to your heart, they wanted me to tell you a falsehood, to use my position, my white coat, and my reputation to their advantage. However, I was unable to accomplish it because I had witnessed an excessive amount. When families learn that their loved one has passed away, I have witnessed the tears that they shed, and I have seen how all of this might have been avoided. For that reason, I am here, due to the fact that there are two different routes. Certain cans are harmful to your health, reducing your power and shortening the amount of time you have left on this earth. It is possible for you to rebuild your muscles, safeguard your memory, and maintain your independence for a longer period of time if you pick certain options. Today, I will discuss the 3 worst canned foods that you should never touch beyond the age of 60, as well as the 3 finest tinned foods that you should consume on a regular basis if you want to strengthen your immune system. You will never look at your cupboard in the same way again when you see the number 3 worst canned foods, which is the one that is now being stored in millions of homes. On the other hand, I wouldn't want you to accept my word for it. Do not put your faith in a single assertion unless you have actually seen the evidence. A link to each and every research, fact, and number that I mention may be found in the explanation that follows. Because the corporations that are selling you these cans are wagering that you will never read them, you should read them. They make money off of your inability to see. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Canned fruit in syrup. It would seem that canned fruit in syrup is harmless. The labels feature cheerful peaches, pears, and pineapples looking back at you with smiles on their faces, and it is touted as a convenient method to obtain your fruit intake. However, for older citizens, this is one of the most deceiving items in the whole shopping aisle. The fruit that appears to be healthy is in fact completely saturated with sugar, to such an extent that it has the potential to cause your blood sugar to spike and your energy levels to gradually decrease. You can get more than 30 grams of sugar from only 1 cup of canned peaches that are packaged in thick syrup. That is equivalent to around 8 tablespoons of table sugar that have been put into a single snack. The science is quite scary. Those who consumed more than 25% of their daily calories from added sugar were twice as likely to die from heart disease than those who consumed less sugar, according to a major research published in JAMA Internal Medicine. Furthermore, fruit that is bottled in syrup is nothing more than extra sugar. For elderly people, who are already more likely to have insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, each spoonful of sugar hastens the process of deterioration. When you purchase canned fruit, you should only go for those that are labeled as either packed in water or 100% fruit juice. Avoid purchasing any canned fruit that is packed in syrup. Even better, when it is an option, select fresh fruit. If you are looking for a way to get the sweetness, fiber, and antioxidants that come with fruit without the sugar rush that is associated with syrups, then a bowl of fresh blueberries or sliced apples is the way to go. Considerably, though canned fruit in syrup has the potential to wreak havoc on your blood sugar levels, the following canned food is considerably more hazardous. It has a salty, oily flavor that makes it very addictive, and it has been strongly related to an increased risk of both heart disease and stroke. Number 2. Canned soups. One of the most significant pitfalls that may be found in grocery stores is canned soup. They are marketed as being warm, comfortable, and even good for you. Labels boldly proclaim that the product is low-fat, that it is made with real vegetables, or that it is heart healthy. However, canned soups are among the worst options for anyone over the age of 60. How come? This is due to the fact that the majority of them include a high concentration of preservatives, salt, and taste enhancers such as monosodium glutamate, MSG. It is possible for a single can of chicken noodle soup to have more than 900 milligrams of sodium. This is equivalent to over half of the recommended daily allowance for sodium in a single serving. That is not food. That is a bomb of salt. In a clinical study that was published in the journal Hypertension, it was discovered that a reduction in salt consumption resulted in a decrease in blood pressure of an average of 7 systolic points for older persons. That is sufficient to reduce the risk of stroke by around 25%. On the other hand, canned soups actually cause your salt levels to spike rather than decrease. And the outcome is perilous. Elevated blood pressure, arteries that are less flexible, stress on the kidneys, and swelling in the ankles and legs. Either stop consuming canned soups completely, or, at the very least, start purchasing types that are designated as low sodium and have fewer than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. An even better idea is to prepare huge amounts of soup in your own kitchen, freeze sections of it, and then reheat them at a later time. You may get the same kind of comfort without damaging your kidneys or heart by simply making a pot of chicken, carrots, celery, and garlic. However, if you believed that canned soup was hazardous, you have yet to see anything like the following one. It is offered everywhere as a source of protein that is both inexpensive and delicious, yet it is packed with fat, salt, and chemicals that have the potential to potentially shorten your lifespan by years. Number 3. Canned pasta, ravioli, spaghetti. There is nothing in the appearance of canned spaghetti that would suggest that it is dangerous. Spaghetti with tomato sauce, ravioli loaded with meat, or macaroni and cheese that just requires heating are all examples of the kinds of dishes that are advertised as family-friendly meals, are inexpensive, and can be prepared quickly. Canned spaghetti, on the other hand, is one of the most dangerous traps in the grocery store aisle for elderly citizens over the age of 60. Refined carbohydrates, excessive salt, added sugar, and low-quality oils are all ingredients that are included in this product, making it a combo of everything your body does not require. A single can of ravioli may include over 1,200 milligrams of salt, which is more than half of the amount that you should consume in a day. Additionally, it has more than 20 grams of sugar that have been added, all of which is concealed in a tomato sauce that appears to be harmless. The science is harsh and unforgiving. According to a research that was published in Circulation, diets that are heavy in ultra-processed foods, such as canned pasta, increase the risk of cardiovascular disease by 29%. The following is a description of the processes that are taking on within your body. When you consume refined pasta, your blood sugar levels rise rapidly, which results in a surge of energy that is subsequently followed by a fall. The inflammation that affects your heart and brain is fueled by the additional sugars and oils that are present in the sauce, while the salt excess compels your heart and kidneys to work beyond their normal capacity, which results in damage to those organs that goes unnoticed for days or weeks. Although senior citizens frequently see weariness following a meal as a typical part of the aging process, their bodies are really fighting against sugar crashes and excessive salt intake. Although canned spaghetti is not ideal, the next one is much more surprising than that. Although it is heavily advertised as having a high protein content and a long shelf life, the fact that it is so heavily processed and contains so many chemicals means that consuming it on a daily basis might result in inflammation, weakness, and an increased risk of developing diseases. However, there is some positive news to share with you. Not every canned food item is unsafe to consume. There are some that have such a high concentration of nutrients that they can truly protect your heart, reverse weakening, and restore your body from the inside out. We will then go on to the following topic, which is the 3 most nutritious canned foods that elderly citizens should consume on a regular basis. Number 1. Canned chickpeas. Chickpeas may appear to be a simple cuisine. They are considered to be among the most nutritious canned foods that those who are over 60 years old may incorporate into their diet. These little legumes are packed with nutrients that are beneficial to your health, including plant-based protein, fiber, magnesium, and folate. These nutrients provide direct protection for your heart, prevent blood sugar levels from becoming unstable, and keep your digestive system in good working order. Canned chickpeas do not include excessive amounts of sugar, salt, or bad fats, and they supply you with clean energy, which is different from canned meats or pastas. The advantages are irrefutable because of science. Older persons who incorporated legumes such as chickpeas into their diets at least 4 times a week had a 22% reduction in their chance of developing heart disease, according to a study that was published in the journal Nutrients. The following is a description of the processes that are taking on within your body. Chickpeas include both protein and fiber, which help slow down the digestive process, minimizing sugar surges and providing you with a consistent source of energy. The magnesium in this supplement relaxes blood vessels, which in turn lowers blood pressure. Meanwhile, the folate in the supplement promotes brain function and decreases the likelihood of developing dementia. These are essential advantages for older adults: a consistent supply of energy, improved blood circulation, and a more robust memory. The most important thing is to make informed decisions. In order to eliminate any surplus salt from the canning liquid, it is essential to properly rinse canned chickpeas every time. In order to create a well-rounded meal, pair them with lean protein, veggies, or olive oil. You may roast them for a crispy snack, mash them into hummus, or include them into soups to increase the amount of cardiac protection they provide. They come at a low cost, are convenient to use, and are surprisingly strong for restoring your health after the age of 60. Number 2. Canned salmon with bones. One of the most intelligent choices that an elderly person can make when it comes to canned meals is to consume canned salmon on a regular basis. This is particularly true when the salmon includes the soft, edible bones. It does not include as much salt or as many preservatives as the majority of canned meats, which is what sets it apart from them. Instead, it is packed with protein, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, and calcium, which comes from the small bones. These nutrients are precisely what the aging body is in dire need of: muscles that are more powerful, joints that are healthier, memory that is sharper, and bones that do not fracture with ease. The influence of science is demonstrated by the evidence. According to a research that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older citizens who ingested fatty fish, such as salmon, at least 2 times each week had a 30% reduction in their chance of developing heart disease. When it comes to canned salmon, you should select the kind that is packaged in water rather than oil, and you should also make sure that the soft bones are included in the can. The majority of the calcium is stored in that area. Mix it into salads, use it as an ingredient in soup, or mash it into salmon cakes. The possibilities are endless. It is an extremely potent method of completely transforming your body from the inside out, and it is both economical and easy. Not only does it provide sustenance for you, but it also makes your heart stronger, keeps your brain safe, and with each and every morsel, it effectively reconstructs your bones. Number 3. Canned tomatoes, no salt added. Canned tomatoes might not be the most aesthetically pleasing item on the shelf, but for elderly citizens, they are among the most potent canned foods that you can have in your cupboard. Tomatoes are packed with lycopene, vitamin C, potassium, and antioxidants, all of which contribute to the protection of your heart, the strengthening of your immune system, and the reduction of your chance of developing certain types of cancer. As a matter of fact, the heating process that takes place during the canning of tomatoes makes this antioxidant more easily absorbed by your body. As a result, canned tomatoes generally provide a higher quantity of lycopene than fresh tomatoes. The science is mind-blowing. According to the findings of a research that was published in the Journal of Nutrition, those who had greater lycopene levels were 55% less likely to suffer a stroke than those who had the lowest amounts of lycopene. In addition to that, a research that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shown that diets that were high in tomato-based products decreased LDL cholesterol levels by 10% and increased the flexibility of arteries. In the case of seniors, that translates to improved circulation, reduced blood pressure, and increased protection against heart attacks. The most important thing is to make informed decisions. In order to prevent any concealed sodium, you should always use canned tomatoes that have no salt added. You have the ability to manage the seasoning yourself when you use them, which helps maintain meals good for your heart. They may be used to make sauces, soups, and stews, or even as a foundation for chili made with low-fat beans and veggies. They are inexpensive, adaptable, and effective in safeguarding your health once you reach the age of 60. They provide us evidence that basic ingredients that are found in pantries may function as medicine if you select the appropriate form. Every decision that is made after the age of 60 is important. Moreover, making the correct decision might result in a longer life as well as better health. Please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions or would like to share your own personal experience. We are continually paying attention to what is going on. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.